Now, Britain, of course, had another somewhat tenuous connection with the official entries in that Alan Parker directed and Alan Marshall produced one of the 4 American contestants, Birdie. This is a story set, as witnessed partly, is in Philadelphia, a city of which the best the great W.C. Fields could find to say was the inscription he wanted on his tombstone: "On the whole, I'd rather be in Philadelphia." Matthew Modine plays Birdie, a boy brought up in a dreary, life-negating suburb who's obsessed with pigeons and the desire to fly. Nicolas Cage, the nephew, incidentally, of Francis Coppola, is his only friend, Al, an apparently much tougher character, who is in fact the more vulnerable of the two and the more dependent. He needs, though he cannot share, Birdie's dream of freedom. The climax of the film comes after they've both been wounded in the Vietnam War, Al physically and Birdie psychologically, so that he's withdrawn totally into himself. Birdie is Alan Parker's 4th film to be selected for Cannes, an event which he sees as an important showcase for his work, although one of his earlier pictures, Midnight Express, received a hostile reception. This year, Birdie, by pleasing contrast, won a 10-minute standing ovation after its screening at the Palais. I talked to Alan Parker and Messrs Modine and Cage, and to begin with, asked the director why he'd chosen to make this film.
The book, really. I was sent the book in manuscript form 5 or 6 years ago, and I always thought that it would be a great film, but I had no idea how to do it then. And then, as the years went by, I got a bit more confident, a bit more arrogant, as you know. So I thought I could have a go at doing it, and that's really. But it was really the inspiration of the book.
Nicolas, tell me something about the character you played, because I gather you went to enormous lengths to create the part.
Well, not necessarily enormous lengths, but it was just the phase I was going through at the time to explore that kind of approach to acting, which was to physically make demands on myself to connect to my character. And really all I did was I kept the bandages on and I pulled my teeth out.
That's a bit drastic, isn't it?
Well, the teeth will come back down again. They were baby teeth. It's not as big a deal as people seem to think it is, because they had to do it anyway. It was just good timing.
Are they coming down now?
They will come down when I'm back from France.
I've forgotten how young you were to have baby teeth.
Yeah.
Matthew, how did you manage to get rapport between the 3 of you?
I don't know. I was just saying last night that it feels like we're 3 chemicals that don't mix well right now. But during the film, Alan thought that maybe it was because of the situation, that the story is so much more important than personal feelings, that they overcame the kind of problems that we might have working together. And because the story was so important, I think he just put those things aside and you know, work for the film, the story. And that's the most important thing.
Sure.
I think that the contrast between the 3 of us actually helped to make the film that had arrived in the end. Because it's like 2 stones, when you rub them together they make a spark. And we were, in our contrasting, we were coming up with its own we had our own baby, so to speak.